Hey my friends, how's it going? It's Ultimus, your friend, back yet again. We're going to be talking about some of the hotfixes and changes coming up for today's patch. These were posted as of September 26th of 2016. These are going to be all rolling out coming to today, actually, by the time most of you probably watch this. These will all be live. Mostly going to be, and by most I mean probably almost exclusively, I'll be talking about the warrior changes both for PvE and PvP. Mostly because I haven't really messed around with some of the other classes really at all this expansion, except for doing artifact quest lines, so it seems a bit stupid of me to try to comment on stuff I really don't know anything about. What I do know, however, is across the board, some of the changes do feel warranted. Some of the changes feel like they are good for quality of life. I know Warlocks are pretty happy they're getting buffed. I will say the Demon Hunter nerfs or changes are warranted, and anybody with a level head, I think, is going to see them as being so, and they are still completely viable before anybody freaks out and says Demon Hunters are done, rip. No, Demon Hunters are still very good in PvP and PvE, and that's all we're going to say about that. So let's talk about Warriors. Warriors. Specifically, Arms Warriors. Before, though, we do get into Arms Warriors, it is worth mentioning that Fury got a little bit of a buff. So the healing reduction to Bloodthirst was reverted or changed. Let's see. Fury. So I want to touch on this lightly, just so we can say we talked about it. And it is worth noting for Fury, Rampage damage was increased by 12%, Bloodthirst damage was increased by 12%, Raging Blow damage increased by 5%, Furious Slash damage increased by 5%, and Execute for Fury exclusively damage was increased by 5%. I personally would love to see Execute damage buffed for arms, but beggars can't be choosers. And then for PvP, it's good to note that Bloodthirst's heal is no longer reduced in PvP, so Bloodthirst is now going to heal for the full normal amount in PvP as it does in PvE. I don't think that's enough to offset how much damage you take as a Fury warrior in PvP. I still think, unfortunately, Fury is in a place where it's just not really competitive compared to Arms for PvP, but there are changes being made, and so maybe soon we'll see a little bit of a revision to how much damage we take as a Fury warrior, which would be quite nice. Because Fury is fun to play, it's just not good for arenas. Alright, Arms Warriors. So, Arms was hit pretty heavy with some pretty major changes, and there was some not so positive feelings about it. It was pretty ill received. I tend to be the person who, in all honesty, I don't really freak out too much about changes that I see on paper until I can actually get my hands on it and play it. Obviously, I don't like seeing my class nerfed, but I think what is cool about all this, on principle, we are seeing Blizzard actively keep up with what they said they were going to be able to do and what they wanted to do with PvP and class balance as a whole, and update it on the fly. We're not waiting for the next patch to come out. We're not waiting for the next PvP season to come out. We're seeing changes and things tweaked so far just about every Tuesday, which is great. It's wonderful. So I think on principle, what we're seeing here speaks volumes for the quality of the game that we're going to be getting this expansion. So overall, I'm very excited about it. So some of the changes that Arms was hit with. Originally, Arms was hit with a 30% nerf to Tactician, which is huge. And now it's been reverted to only a 15%. So it was reduced by 30, but now it's been increased by 15. So initially it was only reduced by 15% proc rate, which is obviously better. And the trade-off for that was that Hamstring no longer procs Tactician. Before, on the version that we have live as of, since launch of Legion, really, except for now today, is that you would be able to, all of your attacks had a chance to proc Tactician, which is the Colossus Smash reset, which if you're an Arms Warrior, you know that is vital to your rotation, because pretty much all your damage comes during that Colossus Smash window. And so what they did is they've reduced the proc chance of Tactician by not as much as they originally intended to, which is nice to see them reverting that. But then the trade-off for that was Hamstring no longer procs Tactician. I'm okay with that change. It's nice to not have to spam Hamstring all the time in between your rotations and stuff like that. I mean, on one end, I kind of do anyways, because I want to keep Hamstring on my target in general. But I think that overall, like, quality of life and the feel and the vibe for the warrior, arms warrior specifically, will be a little bit better for not being able to allow hamstring to proc tactician. I'm okay with it just being your other attacks. I personally, I don't think that's that big of a problem. Exploit the weakness. Our artifact trait bonus reduced to 4% per point. Originally, it was nerfed to 3%. Now it has been buffed up to 4%. So a little bit of a change there again. And of course, we can put more points into that with the relics and such like that. It's a bummer to see exploit the weakness being reduced as far as it was. But as a whole, I again, it's, I don't know about that one. So for those of you who are possibly unaware of how exploit the weakness works, it's a talent in the arms warrior artifact tree that basically what it does is it allows your tactician procs to act or respond as if you spent 10% more rage, and that would stack up to, I believe, 30%. Obviously that got to be a bit crazy because tactician worked based on the amount of rage that you spent, increased the chance for your Colossus Smash to reset, basically, which again is where a lot of arms warrior damage comes from. So with that being said, it's been reduced now from 10% originally to 3%, which was a bit too far, and then we saw it down to 4%, and I believe it goes up by 1% each time, or I'm actually not sure if it goes up 4% each talent that or point you put into it, or if it just goes up by the 1% after the 4. Either way, that's a significant change for sure. But I'm willing to wait and see how it plays out. Again, I'm not necessarily thrilled about it just because nobody likes when their class is nerfed, but I'm not willing to freak out and say, that's it, my class is dead. Rest in pepperonis, my dreams of ever being competitive in arenas. I don't think it's going to completely ruin arms warriors as it is. Let's swing on down now. Let's talk about some of our PvP stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Right? PvP. Cool. All right. The focused rage talent damage bonus was reduced to 30%, which is interesting. Let me see. That was previously, let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much stayed the same. Also, it is worth mentioning for arms warriors as well. Echo Slam, which is one of our honor talents, reduces damage to 5% of the target's total health. I believe before it was 20%. Let me double check that one. Okay, so not quite 20%. It was 10% of the target's total health in 2.5 seconds later. Damage and ignores all armor, which is what the honor talent does there. So it's been reduced now to 5%. So it's basically been cut in half. Echo Slam really was the talent of choice in that tier. For, I guess it's tier, even though you unlock them in columns, you tally them up by tiers. But yeah, so Echo Slam was the PvP talent or the honor talent of choice for that tier. I'm curious now if Wrecking Crew or Sharpened Blade will see a little bit more playtime. I don't know. Again, we'll have to wait and see. By half is a huge hit. That's a huge hit. And obviously that affects gameplay hugely because that's a lot of damage that is no longer going to be coming from the warrior. Some of the upsides I could see to this would just cause warriors, with looking at all the changes and total. I think this could cause warriors to have to play a little bit more defensively and have to play a little more mindfully and not just going crazy, which I think in the end is a good thing. Causes you to be more mindful and aware of what's going on around you. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully this doesn't make it too hard to maintain any arena teams and obviously get any kills. Because that is the one nice thing about being a warrior, is we're great at damage and we're good at getting kills as well. We are one of the classes, and at least as arms, one of the specs that's good at actually getting the kills in arenas. You know, it's not like the classes that you'll see, like if you remember Enhancement Shamans a while back, they were great at doing damage, but they couldn't quite get kills, if that made sense. It was really the warrior class that would go in and they would mop up and get those killing blows in because Execute was so effective, and I like that play style for warriors, that we're able to also maintain damage and keep pressure up, but also we're able to get the kills when we play right and when we get it in there, when we make it happen. And so hopefully these changes don't make it too hard to keep up with that. I don't think they will, but again, I'm no expert, so we'll just have to wait and see. Some changes to honor systems in World PvP. The honor system reward Glory of the Melee now rewards 500 artifact power, up from 150, so that's cool. However, World PvP, the Warden Tower World quests now grant 150 honor, was 300, so that's been cut in half. So they're kind of switching it around a little bit. Getting probably, and the reason I guarantee you they did this was obviously they want you to be able to get honor by doing world quest, but they don't want you to unlock all of your PvP talents by just doing world quest. They really want to get people into the arenas. They really want to incentivize, hey, go play arenas, play 2s, play 3s. I'm okay with that because again, I like doing arenas. But I could imagine how some people might be a little bit frustrated about this, and this does kind of teeter on the edge of forcing people to play one particular way, even if they might not want to. But overall, I think the swap arena there on that one is okay. I'm personally okay with it. And then Warden Tower World Quests now appear 3 times per day, and each quest is available for 24 hours. So there's that. But overall, again, I'm optimistic, not necessarily okay, but optimistic about warriors, specifically arms warriors in PvP. Again, I don't necessarily think they're dead. I think they'll be okay. But again, we'll have to wait and see once this all goes live and as we get into the arenas and stuff like that. And I'll be curious, of course, to hear what some of the top-end PvPers have to say about all this as well. Whether I agree with them or not, because I try to keep an eye on a lot of the more well-known warriors and the top-tier arena warriors, and I might not necessarily agree with all of their point of views, but I think it's healthy to keep some good perspective and hear input from multiple sources on one topic. It keeps you objective, I think, and so, I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you play an arms warrior, let me know what you think about the changes. Obviously, keep it constructive. Please, if you don't play an arms warrior and you want to chime in on some feedback about the arms warrior changes and nerfs, let me know. Love to hear from you guys as well. But that's going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you did. And I'll catch you next time.